Good playgrounds should feel like part of the community, with local features, trained lifesaver huts, tractors and tank stands and sheepdogs running around. Playgrounds aren't just about having some fun. They're also about kids growing up and developing skills.
For us at Playworks, it's about giving the child a life experience.
G'day and welcome to The Free Hit. I'm Tom Wetton. I'm joined tonight by Christine Blanchard and Greg Hart. We're speaking about reducing costs in hockey. Christine, is it expensive to play hockey in Brisbane?
It is expensive. Our fees this year from a club perspective pushed the $1,000 mark. The real cost of fees were about $950. As a management committee, we elected to fundraise per player to get those fees down to around $850. But if you're a young person putting yourself through uni or still at school, that's an expensive exercise to be paying that amount of money for your season.
And Greg, from a club perspective, that's an expense for each player?
Absolute expense. Most of the money is actually hiring the turf for the games and turf for training, and also we have to pay for umpires and other volunteers that used to be volunteers.
Yeah, so in saying that, Christine, there are those expenses now that in the game that weren't there those years ago with the ones that Greg spoke about?
Yes, in years gone by, our competitions were run by volunteers, so there was no cost associated with those people. But these days people are time poor and they look to pay away a lot of those duties, and at the end of the day those costs to pay, tech benches, umpires, groundkeepers, administration staff all get added onto your fees.
And the comparison, Christine, with the other states as far as the way that the councils are run?
I believe the fees are quite high in Brisbane. As I said, we're pushing the $1,000 mark. In other states, I'm told, hockey fees are around the $300-400 mark per season. The difference there is that councils there chip in to maintain the fields, the turfs in particular. The councils here don't. We have to fully fund the replacement of the carpets.
And Greg, that expense of hiring the turf, there's a lot of downtime with the turf.
Yeah, basically during the school hours we could be utilising the turf, organising competitions for the schools. Also, obviously the main one to bring down the fees would be sponsorships, so the sponsors can then go back into the players, that sort of thing.
So why aren't we doing that now with the utilisation of the turfs better, Christine?
The turfs are fairly poorly located in terms of being accessible to schools for school hours. Outside of school hours, the turfs are fully utilised by hockey activities. So if we were closer to schools who could use them, or closer even to businesses who could use them for fitness programs during the day, we would get better use out of our turfs.
So Greg, the regional areas seem to attract and gain more sponsors than the Brisbane competition.
Yeah, I believe that there's a lot of mum and dad businesses that in the regional areas that play the game and want to contribute back. It's a lot harder for the Brisbane area or capital cities because it's more corporate, so you have to deal with the head offices either in Brisbane or in the interstate.
Thanks again to Christine and Greg for joining us on reducing the fees. It's a topic that's hot out there. Again, we're only here to have the discussion, not to provide all the answers. I'm Tom Wetton. That's another edition from us, and we'll see you next week.